They're only allowing it online. Now, here is one consistent element about the vast majority of people who are on Social Security. They're old.
Sam Seder of the Majority Report was a guest on Francesca Fiorentini's show, The Bitchuation Room, to talk about one of Sam Seder's favorite topics, Social Security, and how the second Trump administration is screwing with Social Security. We're going to take a look at clips of Sam and Francesca on her show. I have my thoughts to share about this as well. Let's check it out together.
How do we make Social Security sexy again? Was it ever sexy?
People love Social Security. They love Social Security. And then really, I mean, if you think about what the whole argument is against Social Security is that it's failing. And the trouble they've had in the past with that argument is that everybody can see that it's not failing in its present tense. And that to the extent that it's going to fail in the future, if Congress does nothing, it's going to be underfunded, just like every single other element of the government. In fact, if Congress does nothing in 6 months, Social Security will be the only thing that's funded because that's self-funding. In 6 months, they've got to pass another budget. If they don't do it, there's no money there. The fix is easy, raise the cap. But the way that you make Social Security sexy again is just remind people that it's going to be there and it's an easy fix.
I mean, I just feel like, the meme of the guy with the knife and there's a guy in the other corner just very far away from him going like, no. And it's very clear this guy's about to stab him and you could just run away. Like, and you sort of like.
I'm not savvy when it comes to such things, but I get the idea.
The point is,
I don't think Sam is into memes.
This is that we've known the right has been coming after Social Security. And in fact, some of the very people who are now like, oh, Trump is terrible, what a fascist, were the same ones who for decades were like, but these entitlement programs, am I right? I mean, you gotta take it from somewhere, peddling these lies that you've done a great job of dispelling, the idea that it's going in, it's going bankrupt and that it's adding to the debt, both of which are not true. And now because of the lie that Trump is peddling, just like they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, 180-year-olds are getting Social Security is now the lie that's been put out there. And instead of walking away from such a clear, bald-faced lie based on a misinterpretation of how Social Security, the systems work, because Doggy doesn't understand them, they're doubling down on them. And that's leading to actual impacts. And so I want to tell you about Ned Johnson of Seattle. Here he is. He's with his wife. He's 82, and I don't know if you can tell from the picture, but he's alive. So that's important for the story.
He's sitting up, but he's not moving.
Yes, it is a still. It is. We don't know.
Okay.
But it seems like he is alive.
For everything, but all right.
Allegedly, I don't want to get in trouble. His wife got a letter from the bank earlier this year that said, "Oh, our condolences that your husband died." It was not true and did not happen. And so what followed is that in February, he realized he didn't get paid Social Security. And then he didn't get his March check. This is from the Seattle Times. His Medicare insurance had been canceled. He also learned that when you die, your credit score gets marked as deceased, do not issue, so he can't get a loan. The good news is I don't think it can go any lower than that, he said cheerfully. He called the bank and said they have an electronic notification that had been triggered on February 18th that said he had died in November. But I'm on the phone with you right now, he told them. Also, what did I die of? Take it up with Social Security, they said. So what followed, they write, was a near 3-week battle to resurrect himself. He called Social Security 2 or 3 times a day for 2 weeks, with each call put on hold, and then eventually disconnected. Finally, someone answered, gave him an appointment for March 13th. Then he got a call delaying that to March 24th. He says he went to the Social Security office. It was like an empty, grown over, like there was nobody there. But finally, he cut the line and just begged to be seen. Once in front of a human, Johnson said he was quickly able to prove he was alive using his passport and his gift of gab. That's very cute. Mm-hmm. They pledged to fix his predicament. And on Thursday this past week, his bank called to say it had returned and deducted deposits to his account. As of Friday morning, he still, though, hadn't received February or March's payment benefits. So this is having a real world impact. These lies. And also, who the fuck is telling these folks' banks that they're dead? What's going on?
I mean, who knows how this thing gets triggered? I think, frankly, the bigger story is going to be is that there's been a memo that was uncovered by Judd Legum over, I think it's Popular Information, which shows that internally they're planning to stop the ability of people to sign up for or deal with any issues with their Social Security over the phone.
And this is what's happening with the second Trump administration. They're making it as hard as possible for people to use their benefits. And when we talk about entitlements, they're entitlements because we are entitled to them. We have paid into Social Security. So with Social Security, they're making it to where an older person can't go and talk to somebody in person. They have to do it on the phone or do it online, which could be difficult for them. With Medicare, starting in April, they're getting rid of telehealth appointments. So, it's kind of the opposite. You could have a telehealth appointment for somebody to have just a routine appointment with their doctor, something that the doctor doesn't have to be physically in the room with them, but they're taking that away. So anything that could be convenience to older people or anyone trying to access their benefits, use their benefits, get a question answered, they're trying to make that more difficult for them so it doesn't work well. And also, I think one of the scariest things about Trump is his ability to do what I think of as creating reality. So Trump says something like there are 180-year-old people or 300-year-old people or whatever the lie is getting Social Security. And now there are millions of people in the country that believe that. Even, maybe people who believe in Social Security are like, well, my Social Security, but what about these 180-year-old people that are getting Social Security money? And it's not happening. It's not true.
They're only allowing it online. Now, here is one consistent element about the vast majority of people who are on Social Security. They're old. And as one of those people, soon I'm going to be on Social Security, within a decade, your ability to do stuff online sometimes is hampered. The older you get, the harder it is to operate the computer. It's much easier to use a phone and to explain things rather than trying to upload documents and whatnot. And they are purposefully doing this. They're also simultaneously saying you have to come in. You're older, you're less mobile, right? Simultaneously, they're also cutting offices. So you're basically asking people in their 60s, 70s, really 80s, maybe older, to come into an office that may be tens of miles away, 100 miles away. Like I said, they can't argue that Social Security doesn't work. They can only pretend that it won't work in the future, or they can begin to attack the administration of the Social Security Administration, and inhibit their ability to do their jobs.
Yeah, this war of attrition. I mean, that sort of seems like the entire point of this Trump 2.0, right? Is like, we're going to make government dysfunctional and then say, see, it's a good thing we killed it because it was dead. We killed it dead. Like that, and it's terrifying, the idea that like they're just simply not renewing leases on Social Security Administration offices.
Yep.
And that's how this happens. But I'm just like, I think there's more to dig here in terms of who the hell's telling someone's bank that they've died and that they should no longer be receiving checks. Is this the first like doggy to, pipeline when they are getting people's, IRS information and all that, Social Security numbers? It's really terrifying.
And Francesca Fiorentini here saying war of attrition. That's a really great way to put it. They're just trying to chip away at this and chip away at this. Social Security, Medicare, anything else that benefits regular people to make it less and less efficient. And then that also plays into the thing of, If they make it less and less efficient, then all the people say, well, government doesn't do anything right. Then it essentially is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And they can say, yeah, it doesn't work. We need to privatize this. You also had this week, it must have happened before Sam Seder and Francesca Fiorentini made this video, but you had the Commerce Secretary, who's been making the rounds on all the right-wing TV shows, saying that, if people miss a 1-month payment, his 95-year-old mother-in-law, if she misses a payment, she's not going to scream and complain about it. She'd just say, I'll get it next month. But it's the abusers of the system that are going to go and complain. Well, the Commerce Secretary is a wealthy guy, so I'm sure he can help out his mother-in-law if she doesn't get her check, if she even needs the check. But there's a whole lot of other people around the country. I mean, a lot of people that I know personally, relatives, who, if they missed a Social Security check, they would really be hurting. But of course, this administration doesn't care anything about this because they only care about billionaires. Let me know in the comments what you think about what Sam Seder and Francesca Fiorentini had to say here about Social Security. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. This is Chris on Culture, and I will see you in the next video.